Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out True Off My Chest. Story 1. Conflicted after getting horny in a fucked up situation. I just need to get this off my chest. English is not my first language. Insert blah blah blah. Here I work on a palliative care unit and was on shift today. During the shift, I admitted a new patient, young, mid-30s, who was admitted to the ER because he was in a lot of pain due to his advanced illness. Over the course of the shift, we were able to get his pain under control with some medication, but it took a while. And now comes the shitty part that makes me feel like a monster. He was super hot, literally completely my type. This almost never happens, and of course if it does, it's my professional duty not to tell or show anyone that I think they are hot. It's also morally complicated, because the patients are usually not in a good life situation when we take care of them. The real problem started when the patient had breakthrough pain and started moaning. I'm not kidding, that were the hottest moans I've ever heard. It immediately made me wet and gave me this sinking feeling in my stomach. Y'all know what I mean? I feel terrible writing this, of course. He was in terrible pain, so much so that he had to squirm around in bed. And of course I did everything in my power to make him feel better as quickly as possible, medication etc. But I was so turned on. Honestly, I feel like my subconscious is a monster for making me feel this way. I'm all for sex positivity and consensual pain play yada yada, which isn't my thing at all honestly. That makes it so weird. I couldn't imagine ever getting turned on by making someone feel pain. But this wasn't consensual at all. I mean, I didn't do anything and tried my best not to let on, and I think he was way too preoccupied with himself to really notice me. But still. Has anyone had similar experiences? Getting horny in a really morally reprehensible situation? And no, this isn't a creative writing prompt or whatever, it literally happened an hour ago and I know it sounds like the plot for a weird fucked up dramedy. Story 2. My family is still protecting the pedophile that destroyed my life. I don't even know how to write this because I never post on Reddit, but I will go insane. I, 19F, have trauma from my cousin, 28M, for being sexually assaulted by him when I was 14 and he was 22. At the time he was an immigrant from Venezuela and my parents offered him a room while he was still adapting in our country. At first I was enjoying his stay in my house. He was fun and helped me with homework. But it didn't took too much for the weird behavior to appear. The "you're very mature for your age" started being a daily thing I heard. I was inappropriately touched, he was just joking, and he almost forced me to watch porn with him. I started distancing from him after one night he begged me to stay sleeping in the same bed as him and I had to scream no for him to stop. I told my family about everything, but no one did anything. So for 1 year I lived in fear locked in my room because my abuser was roaming the house freely. However, after some years, he came back here for vacation but stayed in my cousin's house, who was 9 at the time, and she started becoming very depressed and anxious, and then later everyone found out she was also being abused by him. Now all my family turned against him for what he did to my cousin, which was a relief. Until now. Now for context. I share a twin house with 2 aunts. They are very close to me and I basically grew up with them. It happens my cousin is staying at my aunt's house for 3 days for vacation, they know everything that happened, and they asked me to go stay somewhere else for those 3 days because they don't want trouble. I feel betrayed. When I finally thought everyone knew what he was and what he did, they still protect him. I wanna cry from anger. I don't know what to do. I don't want to see him but it angers me so much that I have to move so the pedophile can stay there with no trouble. My mom said it's my choice to stay or not, but I don't know. I am so heartbroken. Story 3. My family are getting back into contact with my ex-pist and now I don't know what to do. I, 19, have a story that I didn't know what to do about until a friend of mine told me of Reddit, so here goes nothing. Changed names for privacy reasons. My brother, Fred, 21, stripped me of my childhood 6 years ago. He forced himself onto me and he made a habit of this for 6 years. Before people come at me, why didn't you fight back or why didn't you tell someone, is because he told me not to, and to keep it secret. Being naive and not realizing what happened, I did. Until 2020, when I finally realized what he was doing was seriously wrong, and I told my mother, 58, everything that happened. She believed me and I thought that she was on my side. How wrong I was. She swept it under the rug and she blamed me for it for the longest time. And she said it so often, I started to believe it. I attempted my life multiple times because my mother started to isolate me, trying to push me down so far to the point I believed that no one would believe me if I came out about it again. I tried again with my dad, 58, not expecting anything, but that changed everything. He immediately got the police involved to get me out of that house and back to my home country. I tried to take him to court, but, because of the broken system in the country they live in, nothing came of it, and Fred still roams free. I blocked him and removed him everywhere. I never wanted to hear of him again, but out of some hope for my mother, I kept very low contact with her. After 2 years of her continuously telling me she's disowned me, she wishes me well, but she still blames me for the broken family, for the SA I endured and everything, I blocked her and I could not be happier that I did. Fred then claimed to my sister Jane, 26, who also knows what happened with Fred, that I was harassing my mother. It's been a couple weeks and I seriously feel good but also feel regret. Was it actually my fault? The current issue, the actual reason I'm on this subreddit is, I told the rest of my family, 3 other brothers all 30 and above, before my dad, and they stood by me and offered condolences. I thought they fully stood by me, but recently, I learned that it was not true. I went to see 2 brothers, both over 35, and Jane, only to learn that they were in full contact with Fred and my mother and were going to give them another chance. I was floored and I started thinking about it more and realized, they never tried to help me. They never did anything. Did they even believe me? Was my mother right? I feel like they should be behind me, but I also feel like maybe I might be asking for too much, thinking they'd cut my mother and Fred out of their lives. I spoke to my dad and he too is telling me to give Fred a second chance. I told him that I would never forgive him, and as soon as he goes to jail for similar or other reasons I will be celebrating, even if I have to put him in myself. I don't know what to do. I feel hurt that now no one but my Fian and friends are on my side, no one that I am related to is standing with me against my mother and Fred, and I feel lost. Thank you for anyone who will listen, and I'm sorry I ranted a bit. Story 4. Found history in BFS phone that is vulgar 22F and 22M. Found stuff on BFS phone that I can't get out of my head. Literally just happened and I'm shaking. I know what I'm gonna do. It's leave him. This is unforgivable and absolutely disgusting. Went on his old Gmail account cause he's been acting weird. Bad, I know. Yeah. Went on his web activity and saw his search history from September of 2018. Looking up how effective is NyQuil? How to make chloroform? How to fuck your younger brother? Best way to use chloroform. Oh, and fucking my younger gay brother porn. He's not perfect by any means, but what the absolute fuck? He's always super horny and likes watching porn. I've gotten over that. But what the fuck? Like what the fuck? You know, when kids are young they explore. But his is when he was 17. And I'm disgusted. We have a child together, but I'm leaving. How can I look at him and his brother be in the same room? What the fuck? Story 5. I don't like calling people pet names. I just use their actual name. Which is really nice cause it makes their name special. I've always loved repeating the name of someone I like to them. It could get annoying, but it's purely out of love. Story 6. My boyfriend's family refuses to let us be happy. I'm not sure exactly what to say or if this belongs here, I just needed to tell someone. I am F18, and currently 10 weeks old pregnant. I got pregnant with my ex, 20M, while on birth control, and it was completely accidental. We discussed and went back and forth a lot about what to do, but inevitably decided to keep it, which was mostly influenced by him. After a few weeks he proposed to me, which was a plan even before I got pregnant. We were spending most days out of the week together. I live alone, he lives with his family, and everything was great. We had some small arguments, as I can be a bit grumpy when pregnant, but really nothing seriously. I had mentioned breaking up, as for a few weeks he was super cold and acting like he didn't want to be with me. About a week ago I was out, and come home to all his stuff gone. He came over shortly after I got home and explained he didn't know if he could be a dad and that he was moving back home. He originally is from a different country. I said that was fine, and we talked about possibly not keeping the baby, and I decided I was willing to move with him. 2 days later he broke up with me, pretty much out of nowhere. He's still kept on very frequent communication with me and made it clear he still loves me, but he needs to move home. Relationship needs to be healthier for him to be able to get back with me for his mental health. I have recognized and done the work to set up couples counseling and figure things out between us, and he says there's a chance of us getting back together. At the same time, I don't know where any of this really came from. It was very out of the blue. Most people I have spoken to believe that it was because of his family's influence, as they have made no secret of how much they dislike me. There's never been any particular reason. It just seems to be a combination of a few things, but no, there's never been any particular reason. It just seems to be a combination of a few things, but now I feel like I'm just in a really awkward position and I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm just in a really awkward position and I don't know what to do. Even if it was his family telling him to do this, it was still actively his decision. And, if it was his family telling him to do this, it was still actively his decision. I just don't know if I should continue pursuing him in this relationship. He has also made it clear that if I keep the kid, he wants to be involved in his life, and if we were to get back together, we would just be long distance until I move out there once things are more stable. Story 7. Is this considered cheating? Hello, Reddit. I am 25 years old and this man 26 years old, who I have been for the past 3 years, had a big fight a month ago. We stopped talking, but we still live together. I decided to let him stay until he finished driving school. I know it's not good what I did, but I could not abstain. I saw that he is talking with this girl, and today I took the courage to look on my own. It's about this girl that he knew before me, a friend that I think he liked, and she would block him always when she had relationship, ghosting him etc., then would come back complaining how bad her boyfriends were. I never liked her, expressed that to himself, but it seems like he kept talking with her. Well, they are calling each other names. This girl is talking and sending voice recording and selfies, pitch voice, always saying how my ex now is the best and means the world to her, that he is so beautiful and how a lot of men are chasing her because she is very smart and beautiful and everyone wants her. They started talking a lot. He even said that he is kinda single. We were in fight though, but I won't lie to myself, I know it's over. This man is giving her advice but never did it for me, always complaining to me, never liked anything I was doing, but that's another story. Their conversation is very weird and I am pretty sure that's not how friends works. At least you're not trying to flirt with your friend. He allows her so he may like it too, no? That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.